Welcome to Cam Look, your daily dose of the Cincinnati Art Museum. Each weekday, a staff member or volunteer shares a work from our permanent collection and poses a few questions for discussion. We hope you'll check back each day at 10 a.m. for a new work and a new chat. Hi, my name's Emily, and I'm the Director of Learning and Interpretation at the museum. Today's work of art is called Welsh-Girl by the artist Eugene Speicher. And I chose this work because I didn't really know a lot about it, and a Cam Look is a great way to learn more about our collection. This painting from 1930 is 34.5 by 27 inches. It is a portrait of a young woman, perhaps just into her 20s, with brown hair pulled back from her face in waves and fastened at the nape. She has rosy cheeks, as if she's been out in the sun. Her head is tilted down and to the right, and she's looking down and to the left. She has a slight frown on her face. She wears a short-sleeved white dress with what looks like to be either a red dot or a red floral pattern. Around her neck, she wears a loosely tied scarf in medium blue. She sits slightly slouched. Her left arm is draped across her stomach. Her left hand is holding her outstretched right arm at the elbow. She sits in a tan chair with a curved back that is off to her left. The background is painted in a dark blue. I describe the painting for those who are not able to see our Welsh girl, but also because it is a subject and a pose that our artist, Eugene Speicher, returned to in many of his portraits. Look closely at each of these works of art. What do they all have in common? They're all posed very alike, and each of the women he portrays looks, well, frankly bored and just a little bit annoyed. As many of his portraits he created were commissions, I do wonder why he chose to paint them as not overjoyed to pose. So, a bit of information on Speicher. He was born in Buffalo, New York on April 5th, 1883, and began his studies in art at the Albright Art School. He moved to New York in 1907 and began attending the Art Students League, where he studied with William Merritt Chase. In 1908, he won the school's Kelly Prize with a portrait of a fellow artist and someone you all might know, Georgia O'Keeffe. In 1909, he took life classes with Robert Henry at the New York School of Art, which he found of significant importance to his formative style. Through Henry, he also became acquainted with fellow realist artists George Bellows, Rockwell Kent, Edward Hopper, Guy Penny Dubois, and Leon Kroll. Shortly after his marriage in 1910, he traveled and studied abroad in galleries throughout Europe. Upon his return, he settled in New York and soon began to receive a steady stream of awards and honors, and by the 1920s, he was considered a leading portrait artist in America. Speicher's renown allowed him to support himself with portrait commissions. He had an incredible ability to capture the likeness of the individual. He tended to favor female subjects and considered his work an expression of himself, almost like an autobiography. The view of the subject and its essence through his eyes, whether it be a portrait, landscape, or figure, was what he aimed to express, combined with the support of the fundamental principles of art. So now that we know a bit more about Speicher and that he saw his artwork as an expression of himself, let's return to our Welsh girl. What does the artist say about himself through this portrait? What is he trying to express? As a third-generation Welsh American, this painting has a special interest for me, and perhaps why I chose it today. But it also means that I have a ton of additional questions. Who is she? Who is the Welsh girl? What's her story? How did she come to be painted by Speicher in 1930? So many questions to ask. If you could ask this Welsh girl or the artist anything about this portrait, what would you want to know? Please share them in the comments below. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.